This is my first video in over a year, and I would just like to thank all the subscribers. I reached 1,500 in the last day or so, and the bulk of that has been since I stopped making videos. My reasoning for stopping making videos, well, I got a bit bored, um, and I got into some other endeavors. I put out an album, and I busied myself in other creative aspects, but I just can't seem to turn a blind eye to the amazing Artarian artifacts and architecture all throughout the area I live in, which is Ontario, Canada, specifically in Toronto and Southern Ontario. And I bring to you today yet another fantastic piece of architecture that seems to be ridiculously attributed to people who had not the means or possibly even the materials to make these things that have been attributed to the people of that time. And this is no exception to that. The Brock Monument, this is located in the Niagara region, so somewhere between Niagara Falls and Niagara on the Lake. If you've ever taken the Niagara Parkway down to Niagara Falls or even leaving Niagara Falls, you will have seen this monstrous monument on top of a hill. At first glance, you can just take in the size of this. You see the people, full grown people, um, completely dwarfed by this. I went there. My wife and kids had actually done an incredible bike trip down through from Toronto, from our front door in Toronto. They biked all the way to Niagara on the Lake. And the plan was, took them 3 days. And the plan was I waited at home with the van doing home repairs to go and pick them up um, when they were ready. And when I went down to pick them up, I saw this and I thought, I really, really want to get closer. I've always seen this. I really want to get closer. So let's dive in. Okay, so we know this is called the Brock Monument. I've told you briefly the area where it is. Let's just take a quick look at the map. So here we go. We've got, I'll just zoom out first so we get a sense where we are in Ontario. Okay. So first of all, with this satellite image, you can see this is Niagara Lake, or not Niagara, Niagara River, and it's coming down to Niagara Falls. There's Niagara University. They have these giant reservoirs. So we got Canada here, United States is there. The point of contention is between United States and Canada. That's where the history of Brock's Monument derives, is from a battle, the War of 1812 battle in this area here between Isaac Brock and Shamader Schmuck from the United States. We'll get into that. We'll read all about it. As I zoom out further, you'll see it sort of lies just south of Lake Ontario, where Niagara Lake or Niagara River comes down to Niagara Falls. Okay, so I came driving up here. We went to Niagara Falls today, came driving up here, and then you sort of get out here and you can walk all the way up here to the monument. Now, the history, let's read up a little bit about this thing, what they want to tell us about the Brock Monument. Okay, Brock's Monument, Wikipedia. Brock's Monument is a 56-meter, 185-foot column atop Queenston Heights in Queenston, Ontario, Canada, dedicated to Major General Sir Isaac Brock, one of Canada's heroes of the War of 1812. Brock, a British Army officer in charge of defending Upper Canada from United States invasion, and one of his aides de camp, Lieutenant Colonel John MacDonald, very rare name, John MacDonald, are interred at the monument's base on the heights above the battlefield, where both fell during the Battle of Queenston Heights. The current monument was constructed between 1853 and 1856, or so they say, which replaced an earlier monument to Brock on the battlefield, where they actually fought it out. And that was built in 1823-24, and it lasted until 1840. We'll get into what happened to that one in a minute. Parks Canada maintains the monument is the most imposing feature of Queenston Heights National Historic Site. It is the third oldest war memorial in Canada. Okay, all right. I got your take there. Now the history. Brock died by gunshot wound to the chest on the morning of October 13th, 1812, leading a charge of British regulars and Canadian militia up the heights to regain the Redan Battery, earlier captured by American infantry forces under Captain John Wool. One of Brock's aides de camp, I hope I'm saying that right, John MacDonald, was also mortally wounded while attempting to lead a subsequent abortive charge when his mount was shot from beneath him and fell on him. Poor horsey. The combined British, Canadian, and First Nations forces eventually won a resounding victory under the command of Major General Roderick Hale Sheaffe. Brock and his aide were initially buried in the northeast corner of Fort George in nearby Niagara on the Lake. This corner has come to be known as Brock's Bastion and is immortalized as such by a small stone bearing that inscription. A campaign began among prominent Upper Canadians to honor Brock, whose dramatic death provided a rallying point during and after the war as a symbol of Canadian independence from the United States. This led to the erection of the first Brock's Monument, a 135-foot, 41.1-meter Tuscan column with a viewing platform at the top. Construction began in 1823 and the monument was inaugurated October 13th, 1824. During its construction, William Lyon Mackenzie suggested that a capsule be sealed within the monument containing an inscription written by Mackenzie, coins, a copy of the Upper Canada Gazette, and the first issue of the Colonial Advocate. The Upper Canada Lieutenant Governor, yada yada, ordered its removal because he did not want to include a newspaper critical of the government in the monument. So there you go. There's a nice little nod to hiding the truth. Very commonplace in government. Okay, there it's right there. Let's not put that uh, critical newspaper in the first monument. Let's not even. Come on, no one needs to know about that. We make the history around here, not the newspapers. Maybe at the time, maybe maybe they just hadn't gotten control of that newspaper yet, or hadn't decided what they wanted the newspaper to say, or they decided wrongly. I think we all know that newspapers are definitely controlled usually. It's just that sometimes the governments regret what they told them to say and decide they want them to say something else or completely cover it up. On April 17th, 1840, an explosive charge did serious and irreparable damage to the monument, although it failed to bring it down. The attack was presumed to have been orchestrated by Benjamin Lett, an anti-British agitator and participant in the 1837 rebellion, although a subsequent Aziz failed to confirm this. Brock and MacDonald's remains were removed after the monument's disassemblage and re-entered in the Hamilton family burial grounds at Niagara Parkway and Key Road in Queenston. All right, so here we have. This is the original Brock's Monument, and then someone blew it up somehow, put a big crack in it. They never really busted the guys who did it, the guy or guys who did it. But now it was time for a replacement. A campaign to rebuild the monument began almost immediately in 1852. Toronto architect William Thomas had his design selected for a monument even grander than the first. A master stone carver named Charles Thomas 1820 to 1867, supervised the construction and stone carvings of Brock's monument. He was an English-born stone carver. Thomas was employed by Worthington Brothers of Toronto contractors for the stonework on Brock's monument. Now, let me pause just there and say that this is the beginning of the Thomases that are related to this story. Now, sometimes when I'm looking into these things, I think I'm sort of looking for the subtle um, consistencies or the subtle inconsistencies, the likelihood of things happening, compared to how much they're happening in these stories. This story seems to have an underlying Thomas element to it. Now, maybe it was just a really popular name at the time. Uh, from what it seems like in this story, as you're going to see, it seems like it was the most popular name at the time. We already have William Thomas and the stone carver named Charles Thomas Thomas. It got me wondering, what does Thomas even mean? What could Thomas mean? Let's look at the name Thomas. The name Thomas is derived from Aramaic. Mm-hmm. Personal name with things I can't read, but its meaning is twin. Hmm. And so Thomas is the twin. And the English spelling of Thomas is a translation of the approximate Greek translation that. Uh, and down here you see etymology. The masculine noun occurs throughout Semitic languages, always meaning twin. All right, Thomases. So what's going on with the Thomases? So first of all, William Thomas, and I do want to say that it doesn't say in this one here, but there was actually a competition to design the new Brock Monument, and the guy, I should have a tag for it here, the guy who first won the first competition was going to make an obelisk, an Egyptian obelisk, and his last name was Thomas. Um, and I don't have that here, but maybe I'll edit it in somehow. So there's lots of Thomases. So here we go. Um, Thomas was born in Suffolk. Oh, well, let's go back here. So this is William Thomas. This is the architect. So let's learn about this Thomas. Thomas was born in Suffolk, England. He was apprenticed to a local builder after his family moved to Gloucester. His two older brothers became master glaziers, and younger brother was the sculptor, John Thomas, apprenticed under Charles Barry and A.W. Pugin, born 1813. Now, they do mention, we're going to go back, they do mention the sculptor's name, who was also a Thomas, but it isn't this Thomas's brother, John Thomas. On completion of his apprenticeship, William moved to Birmingham. We read that, sorry. Uh, he became a member of the Teuton family by marrying Martha, a member of the Teuton family. During this time, he revised his title to architect. However, a depression in the city forced the closure of the firm and he moved to Leamington. This is all in England. So he basically is in England until he's 33, and then he moves to Ontario, and he starts by making a Leamington spa. And you'll see the Leamington spa here. He did that 1832. And then he waits, he waits another 10, 12 years, and he starts to do the Anglican Gothic Revival style church. And then in 1845, he's doing the Tudor Revival Episcopalian residence. And then he starts getting into some fantasticness. Then he starts doing this. Yeah, well, I've done a few residences, a couple of suites. I think I should be awarded to make this beautiful thing, this incredible thing. I went from this to this, which I found, this is one of those inconsistencies. And also, what's inconsistent to me is the amount of time that's going by as he's building these things. So he starts getting into this St. Lawrence Hall, which I've definitely showed in my King Street walk. Here's St. Lawrence Hall. He did this one, this beautiful thing, apparently. Um, and this was built in a year. 1 year they built this. Let's take a look back and double check that. Oop, let's just double check that I'm not just speaking out my butt. But this here, let's see the start date of the hall. Yeah, 1850 to 1851. They built that. Now, in 1850, the population of Toronto was 200,000, I believe. Let's check. I do have notes here. Let's see. These are some notes I took down. Okay. Ontario population. In 1840, the entire population of Ontario was 432,159. The Toronto population in 1850 was 30,000 people. So amongst that 30,000 people in Toronto in 1850, this gigantic thing was built by our monument maker in a year. 30,000 people. That means all the bakers, all the tailors, all the people it would take, all the stonemasons, all the laborers, all the workers. I mean, could you think it would take 1,000 people maybe to do this in a year with horse and buggies, no cars, no power tools, no cranes? 1 year. Do you think they could do the repairs on this top bit in Toronto and do it within a year? If they decided they had to repaint and glaze these columns in Toronto right now, do you think they would do it in a year? I don't think so. We're talking snow and ice for at least half of the year. We all know the winters were worse back then than they are now, or they seem to be. So, also, I mean, I digress. All I'm saying, kind of unlikely. And the fact that he's doing all of this in such a short period of time. And then he takes, a little break because that would have been tiring. And then he gets chosen. He gets chosen to be the guy to make this one, um, this incredible monument, um, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, really. Let's look at this map again. Okay, so we got the river here. So let's say, well, yeah, well, they just brought all the stone down from the quarry down the river, and then they just came across here. Well, if any of you know this area, this is a cliff. This is a 100-foot cliff that goes along here. This is no sandy beach. And to get here, it's also a hill all the way up. Oh, we're climbing, we're climbing, we're climbing. Because this is peak, on the peak of a hill. So getting the materials there would be crazy. Now, I want to show you guys a map that I found from 1866, which would have been almost 10 years, probably 10 years after this monument was apparently constructed. Let's take a look here. Okay, so this is the peninsula of Niagara. I got this from Canadian Archives website. Let's just zoom in on the date to show you. Okay, Mr. Fletcher made this map December 8th, 1866. The Brock Monument was completed well, I guess we should look at William. He had the best. So yeah, 10 years later, this map was made. Let's take a look at the map that we have here. So from what I could tell, I'll try to zoom out again. Now, from what I could tell, the Brock Monument is somewhere around here. Okay, because you see we have Lewiston Bridge and Queenston. There we go. Doesn't look like much of a road. There is a train track. Okay, so that's a good argument in the favor of getting materials there, assuming this train track was there within the last 10 years. But here's my point. Where's the monument? It's been around for 10 years. It's a monstrosity. It's a national treasure. They're showing the bridge. This is the spot, right? Let's take a look here. Let's get a little closer here. So we're looking for Queenston Heights, Lewiston Bridge. Okay, so I think the bridge still exists. There it is. The Lewiston-Queenston Bridge is right there. We go back here. We're looking for, there's the bridge. Okay. Where's the monument? Aren't we proud of this marvel? Do we not need to know about it? I mean, we've marked pretty much all the other things. I mean, maybe there was more going on that's not marked here. So that was a little strange to me. I did find that a bit strange, because the monument existed when that map was made, and unfortunately, we just don't see it. A couple other funny, mysterious timbits I found. So here we have a little bit of history again on the destruction of the first monument that was made. It still looks like it's got some antiquitech going on there, if you ask me. I mean, it doesn't look completely devoid of. Oh, click to see larger image. Let's take a look at it, guys. If it will allow. No problem. Okay. So yeah, still looking like a little bit of antiquitech there. Still looking like, It's got some masonry there, and this little thing on the top. Nothing compared to the monument we're looking at now. But this wasn't the thing that intrigued me about this particular article. Let's see, the saga. This is actually another government site, but it was these letters from the Credit River Indians, so it's called. I suppose we would say the native Canadians or Credit River natives. So they write this gleaming, sorrowful, sorry for the loss of your monument letter and pledge to um, support a building of a new monument. Look at the handwriting, amazing. I wish we wrote like that now, right? Father, so further, we cannot find language sufficient to express our utter detestation of such an outrageous conduct. This is all talking about blowing this up. We shall ever remember the debt of gratitude we and our children owe to that great chief. Um, whilst your red children were sitting together like a family of helpful children in danger of being, I don't know, I can't read this. Anyways, this whole letter goes on to just say, like, we love you, God, we love you, British, we love your queen, she is the bomb. And I was like, okay, yeah, wow, they really, and we pledged to support money to the new monument. And of course, all the authors of this letter, or those who agreed with this letter, here we go. Further, we feel truly grateful to the British government for their kind care they have ever manifested towards us. Further, we love our great mother, the Queen, and all her children over the great waters. Okay, really? The Credit River Indians are saying this. Our great mother? Is this not coerced of some sort? I mean, I get that you may have similar interests in preserving the sovereignty of that land, not being attacked by the Yankees. But is this truly a letter written by the Credit River natives that truly reflects how they feel? Was this also just more history that was doctored up? And here's the compelling evidence for me. This is all we have to say. Signed, Joseph, Peter, John, Thomas, James, and David. The Credit River natives. Joseph, Peter, John, Thomas, James, and David. So either they were given new names by the English, which of course is a slap in the face, anyways. And what is this? Is this their signatures? These very similar looking birds. They all do the bird signature. Well, then it's Credit River natives. Okay, I know a bit of sarcasm on my part. I agree. It can maybe get a little bit grating. I apologize. So let's get back to the monument itself. That's the history. I'm contesting the history. Okay, let's take a look. These are the guys that it's celebrating. This is what they look like. This is how they dress. This is the war that we're commemorating. Yeah, I'm going to just zip down into my photos here, and I'm going to see what I have for my own pictures of the Brock Monument and what I saw while I was there. First of all, when you enter the grounds for the Brock Monument, you go to a gate, and this is what you see. You see the lions, first of all, and you see the gates, right? We know these iron gates, guys. We see all the antiquitech going on. Even this, guys, even this wonky brick pattern here, this stone pattern, we know this, right? We see this. It's strange, but it's consistent throughout, right? I'm going to toggle through some of these. Not all the pictures I took were the best. It was a snowy day. It was icy going up there. I went up there with my youngest lad, and as we approached it, it's just the size of this thing, guys, is incredible. So this is Laura Seacourt. Yeah, it's all chocolate. Her history is all about chocolate now because they have a Laura Seacourt chocolate store in Canada, and Laura Seacourt chocolate are, the best. But this is dedicated to her in 1910. But she was I'm not going to go into all the history of all the people involved. But anyways, she helped in the battle by running like by foot to warn the good guys. Now my son pointed this out. He's like, Dad, why does that look like a face up there? And I thought, yeah, that is a strange looking thing. I mean, I know it's drainage, but that's um huge, 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 huge. There's the face. There's the face. Now, as we get closer, you're going to see. So we have lions on the side. We have this here. Now, yeah, I'm not exactly sure about this whole area here. I feel like this area is newer than this area. I feel like they faced newer stone on older stone. You can see the darker, more weather worn. There's even more lichen on this stuff. And then they have this here. Now, if it was truly just a cleaning thing, why would they power wash this part and leave all this part, uh, you know, kind of dirty? Okay. So let's see if this is anything interesting. I'm gonna stick away. I'm gonna stay away from the history actually for now. Let's just step back. I want to just look at the monument. So we might come back to this. Okay, so here is where I start to ask my questions. First of all, who are the sentinels around this thing? They're Roman guards. Okay, they're Roman soldiers. They got the little skirt thing. They got these crazy shields with the bearded man I'm always talking about. He shows up everywhere. Is he Zeus? On the other side of the shield, they have a Medusa. I'm sorry, who are we dedicating this to? Would it not make sense? Here's a great shot. Okay, that's not a great shot, but I mean a shot where you can see. This is Roman, Romanesque, as they like to say, or Tartarian. Okay, there's no need. Up here, the fresco, we got our guys. Right there they are. In a nice shiny new plaque. Those are our guys. That's who we like a picture hung on a wall. We're gonna put our whole history right there. Just tack it on there. We'll add a little face of some new limestone. Like these are manageable blocks here. Okay, manageable blocks. They can do that, and they put on this thing, and there's the 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 hat we expect them to wear. So what's up with this guy? Why him and why Medusa? How does that how does that tie in to what we expect to see for the monument here? There you get an idea of the size. There's my wee man. Truly he's wee, but you can still tell that that is a large monument. Okay. Sorry, got some duplicates here. Another shot. I mean, just look at these. Look at the helm. Again, we have this strange helmet. Who can see out of that? Are these the eye holes for battle? What's the design? William Thomas, tell me, what is your design idea behind creating this piece? This giant piece. Well, we're not even talking about at the moment how the heck they got these up here. This is, what maybe you put it together, but it seems like a carved piece. These actually maybe are hung there. This is the Medusa side. Just look at the age. Just look at how old it seems compared to the rest of this uh, monument, sort of the new bits, right? There she is, Medusa. No question. That is Medusa. Why in this Christian forgotten country battle against the Americans, why are we celebrating this? Why is this, here we go, and here's the fresco. Why wouldn't you make the Sentinels guys that look like that? Why wouldn't they be the guys who you celebrated as the Sentinels. Why? Because you didn't build this, guys. Why do we do limestone here? And what is this? Is that limestone? It looks stronger, older. Granite, maybe, like we've come to expect from so many of these star forts um, and older monuments. Now, yeah, didn't always take the greatest pictures, but there's just nothing about this. There's our bearded man that that says to me we are celebrating this battle of Queenston Heights. Okay, so I'm going to leave my own pictures again. I'm going to go back to my internet tabs. And let's see what else. Let's read up about the stone carver. I always find the stone carver stuff. I don't know if any of you remember me doing the one at U of P, but the stone carver stories are crazy. Okay, so Charles Thomas, the master stone carver, July 26, 1820 to December 25th, 1867. Uh, he was born in England. There was a William there. We have a William Thomas, and now he trained under William Cubitt. I mean, how many names did we have back then? I don't know. And if you look, he's done a few things. Victoria Hall, he has the bearded man again. Loves that bearded man. Born in London, he trained in England under William Cubitt and Company, one of England's prominent Victorian building contractors. Charles Thomas apprenticed with Cubitt and Company in the 1840s. Okay, 1851, Charles traveled to North America. He was appointed foreman of works with the Works Department of the British Royal Navy, responsible for development of the Royal Naval Dockyard in Bermuda. He's a traveled man. He came to Toronto, traveled to Canada to work with the Worthington Brothers, a well-known Toronto-based building contractor that specialized in sandstone. And then he relocated to Coburg, Ontario, which I know pretty well, and I definitely think I'll be doing a video about the Victoria Hall, really, in Coburg. But so he was the stone carver in Victoria Hall, and let's look at this one again. So again, this needing to make a bearded man inside this hall, the same way there is another bearded man, an indescript bearded man. Does anyone want to ask Thomas? I mean, not, I mean, Charles Thomas. Um, what's up with the bearded man and why he likes it so much? These carvings, together with the fine bearded face which forms the keystone of the arch, are the work of Mr. Thomas, contractor for the stone cutting, and they certainly do him very great credit. Now, the funny thing is, there's actually a mistake in the history where they credited William Thomas, who is the architect for the Brock Monument, as the guy who did the stonework on Victoria Hall, because they only called him Mr. Thomas in the records. So Mr. Thomas was the one who did the carving, because it's all Thomases. They're the same guy. They're not the guy. None of the guys are the guys. They're just all named Thomas because they're twins. C.T. Thomas was also a contractor for the stonework on an impressive Bank of Montreal demolished in 1960 in downtown Coburg, designed by Montreal architect James H. Springle, not Thomas. Okay, and then he goes on. He ends up going to Quincy, Illinois, to build a massive railway bridge over the Mississippi River for the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railway. The bridge was designed by, wait for it, Thomas Curtis Clark of Port Hope, Ontario. Somehow, Port Hope, which is very close to Coburg, Thomas, and Coburg, Charles Thomas, decided somehow got awarded to build a bridge in Chicago. Start to see. Anyways, also interesting to me, the Thomases. A bit of an abrupt ending to that video. Um, I actually made that video about a year ago. So now it's been almost 2 years since I've posted a mud flood video. Um, and I think I just sort of trailed off there, and it wasn't ready to post it back then. But I found that video, and I thought I should post it now. There's a couple of things I wanted to point out before I wrap up here, and thanks to any of you who have made it to the end of the video. There's this great sketch here. I'm not sure of the date, but the monument is clearly there, and it looks like there's farm field leading up to it, um, almost as if no development has happened around it, almost like it's there. And in the foreground here, we have some other kind of stone piece. And then even at the front of this sketch, it's kind of like squared off rubble. So I found this sketch really intriguing. Um, I'm gonna just go back a couple here and show you. So this is the monument after they've done the work, apparently, after they built it, and they put in this little house, and there's lots of trees around. I think this one it's a color photo. It was probably, taken at least, later in the 20th century. But just looking at that, and then we take a look at, you know, now, I don't know if this is looking up from where you walk up to it, or if this is from the backside. Perhaps it could be, but it seems to me that it plateaus from the other side. So if this is looking up from the Niagara River side, where's the trail? Where's the path? And how did they get everything up there to build this thing? Um, and then this here, this is from 1930, where they're saying they were doing some repairs. Um, this for me is suspicious in that it could be when they were changing those frescoes, when they were redoing some of the things. I'm not sure. Also, like John Levi likes to mention, um, that we don't really know if photographs of things being built are found on site, and they are actually from a long, long time ago. So there's those two things. This one I found kind of intriguing. Can't tell if it's a photo or if it's a drawing. Um, but apparently this is the gatehouse, which is interesting, um, which shows that something has been removed that was there before. And I guess they added those walls we see, but the lions are still there. So this lends itself to the idea that there was some kind of construction or changing, but we don't really know where that comes from. But I thought that was an interesting picture. Anything I missed? And just this is also there, and it's very mud flood to me. The way that you can see these pillars are just sort of ad hoc, just thrown in there. Those pillars, if they were pillars, should go all the way down to the ground, or even lower, it seems, with those windows peeking out in this strange sort of set of steps just thrown in. Um, Very interesting, all of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy making these and remembering. And if you like what you saw, please hit the like button. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And thanks to all the other mud flooders out there for your contributions. And thank you to all the truthers just holding it down, looking for the clues, trying to piece it all together. So with that, I'll say thanks for visiting Mudflood Mystery North, and have a wonderful day.